Good morning. Thank you for joining us on Pastor's Corner. Thank you for all your support being with us. We pray your life is blessed. You had a blessed week. We thank God again for his love, his mercy, and his grace. We're going to go to the book of Ephesians, chapter 4. It's an area we've discussed in the past, but I want to circle back to it. And you'll know the scriptures, Ephesians 4, verses 26 and 27. And it says, be ye angry. It says, be ye angry. It's okay to be angry. And then it says, and sin not. But don't do the wrong thing with your anger or our anger. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. When we've gotten into that thoroughly, letting the sun go down upon our wrath. And then the next verse says, neither give place to the devil, which it's easy to see that it gives us instructions. And then it tells us that if we don't heed to the instructions, we open the door to the devil. And this is where people get confused. They get confused because they'll let's say, for example, quote, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, which is true. But yet, if we leave a door open because of we let the sun go down on our wrath, it opens the door to the enemy. Which is, again, this is math. 2 plus 2 is 4. So when the Bible instructs and gives us instructions like this, we're not an exception to the instructions. All of us, it applies to us. Gravity applies to us. Math applies to us. And again, that's something each one of us individually needs to embrace. We need to accept that. But going all the way back to the first part of be ye angry. In other words, it's okay to be angry. It's what do we do with our anger? That's the question. And the reason I'm underlining and highlighting this is because, as you know, there's a lot of anger around. There's a lot of anger that exists. And you can't do anything about everyone else's anger except pray for them. That's all you can do. The only anger you could do something about is your own anger and how you navigate through your anger, how I navigate through my anger. And that we don't just become angry or be an angry person. In other words, that is our constant, consistent demeanor, is anger. And in order to stay away from being an angry person, there's numerous things we have to do, but we have to start by filtering what comes through our ears. We have to filter it. Just like water gets filtered, it takes the sediments out. We have to filter what hits our ears and what comes into our brains and into our hearts. We have to filter it. We have to decide, what am I going to allow to come into my ears? And I liken what comes into our ears like what we eat goes through our mouth. We take intentional decisions on what we eat. We should make intentional decisions on what we listen to, what comes in to our ears. And we have to filter that. Now, just putting our head in the sand like an ostrich isn't going to work. But that we can decide, okay, what am I going to lean into on any given day? And I have explained my approach. And the reason I do, because I know what I do. and I can suggest. But every day, I start my day out uh, with different scriptures, different songs that that uh, recognize it. Like one of them is Psalm 103. It's a song, but it's singing Psalm 103. Um, and I do the different ones and different prayers. And I start my day that way. That's how I start every day. So, in other words, before I enter into whatever I'm going to do, that's what I start my day with. So, that's what I intentionally eat in my hearing. And then I have to decide, okay, where am I going from there? Of course, phone calls, text messages, emails, those different things. But I start my day with my devotionals. And I know I've shared this, and some people don't like it because they expect me to just be there, boom, answering uh, to them, phone calls or whatever. And I'm not talking about my family, but it's like I have to take care of my feet on the ground before I go into life out here, lest anger becomes my demeanor. Gratefulness, thankfulness, and a lot of people, they think that that's like washed, watered down, not standing on the word, and that's not true. Thankfulness and gratefulness is His word. Give me this day my daily bread. That's powerful. Giving thanks for our day, giving thanks for our life, giving thanks for our family, giving thanks for provision and resources. Thanking the Lord, gratefulness. If you don't give thanks and you're not grateful, I challenge you to make that part of your routine. Try it for a month and see if your demeanor doesn't change. That you start your day by giving thanks and being grateful, recognizing the creator of the universe, God Almighty, giving Him honor, giving Him glory, giving Him praise. See if it doesn't change inside. Life's going to deal us challenges. Life's going to put mountains in front of us that we have to climb, hurdles we have to get over. But as we navigate through these challenges, these mountains, these hurdles, that we can keep our peace, that we can keep our sound mind, regardless of how big a mountain we climb, how great of achievements that we achieve in this world. If we lose our peace and we lose our sound mind, then we lose at the end of the day. So the goal is to keep our peace and sound mind and not let anger be a cancer to us while climbing our mountains. That's the challenge. To you is the challenge to me. Doing nothing isn't the answer. Locking ourselves in a room and communicating with nobody isn't the answer. Climbing the mountain, being productive while having peace, sound mind. And I know it takes wisdom, it takes direction, it takes prayer, it takes guidance from the Lord, leaning not into our own understanding, but trusting in the Lord with all of our heart, acknowledging Him in all of our ways, and He will direct our paths. That's where we have to lean into, that we can be productive and not allow anger to overtake us. Because there's a lot of angry people, a lot of flying bullets, and I use that term figuratively, but literally there's flying bullets too. So angry people in this world. Lest that anger finds its way to us. You have a say in your environment, of your mind and your heart. You have a say. What other people do, we need to use wisdom and not allow that to snowball upon us. To me, my heart is precious. My peace is precious. So I have to guard it, not put it in a prison cell, but I have to protect it from people that want to grab it and take it into a warfare, into a battle. And that's where wisdom comes in, because people will bait you. They'll throw bait to draw you into a confrontation. And once you take the bait, there is no winning. Once we take that bait, it's a loss. Because why is it a loss? Because they take us into this firing line back and forth, and the end result is anger. It's anger. That we lead with love, we lead with light, the light. We lead with being the salt of the earth. We lead with that. Not leading with aggression and anger and confrontations. Growing up, I played a lot of sports. It was a big part of my life, of my childhood. I was constantly in organized sports and just playing in the street or at the school playground. It's what I did. I just got something out of it. And then as an adult, I played a lot of basketball, softball, and then eventually played lots of flag football. Into my 50s, I was playing into my 50s, and I don't mean like a touch game in the backyard. Organized, full speed aggression. It was what we call 8-on-8, and 8-on-8 is contact. You actually make contact. You block each other. You come at each other. And the reason I'm sharing that is because I would go inside those lines, if whatever it was, and I played with intensity, and I played with aggression, with hard aggression. I played hard. That's the only way I knew how to play. So I played hard. And I would confuse people because I would play extremely hard when I played sports. But once I stepped over the line back in outside of the lines, I became the person that I am. And it would confuse people because inside the lines I was one person, outside the lines I was another. So was it fake? It was phony? No, the game was designed for it. And I did that ever since I was a little boy. That's how I operated. My grandson now plays flag football. He's 6 years old. And he's a sweet young man. He's a sweet little boy. Really sweet, has a sweet personality. But yet when he plays flag football, he goes hard. He plays it with a lot of aggression. And sometimes they got to pull him out because he just goes so hard that he doesn't allow the other team to make any yards. So they'll pull him out to let the other team get some yards. But I look and I say, that's people won't understand that, but it's a balance, and it's something that I did throughout my life, where I went really hard inside the lines and then gentle outside the lines, and it would confuse people. And some teams would get it. I remember this one team, we were going hard. I remember they had red jerseys, and we went hard at them, a real hard game. And then I walk over to our sideline. I'm with the guys on our team. And a few of the guys on that team came over and they said, "Can you come over and pray for us?" And I said, "Sure." And I walked over there by myself. I went into their whole huddle of all their jerseys by myself, and I prayed for that team. Then I went back, and one of our players, he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, I'm praying for him. He goes, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, hey, inside the line's one thing, outside's another. Now, some teams wouldn't be like that with me. They would be mad at me just because of the way I play. I never cheap shotted. I never called anyone names. I never put anyone down. I played with a lot of intensity. Uh, and sometimes I'll give you one. I was playing against this gentleman, and I was guarding him all game long. We're going hard at each other. Then after the game, he comes up to me, he shakes my hand. He says, "Good play." He says, "You're a great defender." And then I said, "Thank you." And then I walked away, and someone walked up to me, and then he says, "You know who that was, don't you?" I said, "No." He goes, "That's the receiver from the Chicago Bears." I didn't know he played for the Chicago Bears. He was on the Chicago Bears, and this was off season for them, but he was getting some run, and I didn't know. I was just guarding him. But what happened is he didn't take any offense to my aggression. He respected it, but I respected him, and we played. We didn't exchange any words. We just played hard during the game. Sometimes words are exchanged because guys they talk, but we just boom. Nice, respectful, easy. I didn't know he was a professional football player. I wouldn't have been any different, but I respected how he was able, because he's a pro, literally. He knew inside the lines, outside the lines. Why am I sharing that? Because there's a time and a place for me to be aggressive, but outside to be gentle. To be gentle with my wife, to be gentle with my children, to be gentle to my grandchildren, gentle people in my life. Now, someone's going to run in front of a car, you're going to hear a different side of me. If I've shared this story, this next one, you could go with me. If not, my grandson, my other grandson, he loves horses. He loves horses. And we took him to see some horses. At the time, he was 4 years old. And he starts to walk behind him. I'm like, the horse. I'm like, no, 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 no. And then I grabbed him and I startled him. But I don't talk to my grandson like that. But I did at that moment because I knew that walking behind the horse has the potential of kicking, getting startled. So he didn't understand it, but I did. Same thing, the sidewalk, the street, the parking lot where people are driving. I'm going to be more forceful with not just my grandchildren, but any children in the parking lot here. I'll be like, hey, get back, which is different than just every day. How you doing? Good to see you. God bless you. Gentle, kind, honor, respect. Keeping aggression where it belongs. Keeping the intensity where it belongs. Keeping the force where it belongs. Lest we're angry and then we make a breach. And we get wrath. We get wrath and we take the wrath to sleep with us one day, a week, a month, a year, a decade. I'm going to start wrapping this up. But that's where we get ourselves in a lot of trouble. When something happens and we go to sleep with it over and over and over and over and over, instead of making peace with it. And let me give you this. Sometimes you got to make peace with something over and over. Yes, more than once. So what was the other one? It's a process. You talk to the Lord. Right here, this is where I'll spend time sometimes right here, this altar up here. I like to come in here by myself and inside the lines get more aggressive in my prayer. Yes, talk to the Lord. Help this man. Direct this man. Guide this man. Give this man peace. Let me know where to get aggressive. Let me know where to be gentle. It's the same thing right now when I'm speaking to you and when I preach. It's a balance. I like to go more into that, but I think you got this. Thank you for joining us this Sunday morning. Thank you for blessing us. If you'd like to bless us financially, there's some ways there on the screen. If you want to join us in person, we'll be here at 12 o'clock noon, Arizona time, 1363 South Vineyard in Mesa, Arizona, 85210. And have a blessed Sunday.